Welcome back to another episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. Tonight we're back for week 8? 7?
8.
What is this?
8.
Yeah, week 8 of college football. As you know, we pick 10 games a week. This is our college pick'em show. Tonight we got Adam, we got Chris, and we got Keith. We'll send these virtually to Alex. Little updating the score standings after a pretty good week last week for everybody. 8-2 out of Keith, 7-3 for Adam, 7-3 for me, and then 6-4 for Alex. So the separation has finally happened between you and Alex. Alex is officially at the bottom right now and in danger of doing the punishment. So at the top you see me 48-29, Adam 47-30, 46-31, and 44-33 for Alex. So we did decide on punishments. It sounds like we're going to do some type of like Waffle House challenge, maybe some wings. We're going to figure it out, but it's going to be a food-related punishment for sure. As you can tell, this cast not scared of a food challenge. So
we've had a couple pieces of food that day.
Yeah. We've inhaled a few Waffle House waffles. So 10 games on the slate this week. We're actually starting with a Thursday night game. We got James Madison Dukes. They're 6-0. They're on the road 7 o'clock at Marshall. The Thundering Herd are 4-2, and right now JMU is just a 3.5 point favorite. I'll let you start this one off for us.
I'm gonna go JMU.
Okay.
I know, I guess not picking as a homer here, but I'm pretty sure they still have the same coach that was at the Citadel, and his first year there, they win the double FCS title or whatever.
Yep.
And I think he's only done better since then, and I think they're in a good spot. Marshall has just been a little hit or miss this year. They haven't been bad, but they hadn't been great. So I'm going with JMU.
Yeah. I think Marshall's, y'all are going to laugh at me because you know a couple years ago I spent a lot of money on Marshall.
It was last year.
Yeah, last year. But
we won't let you live that one down.
Man, I still like where the Marshall program is. On the road at NC State, only lost a touchdown, was winning most of that game actually.
Should have won that game.
Should have probably won that game. Last week, Georgia State, just don't know what happened with them last week. They got blown out by Georgia State at Georgia State. James Madison, they've had some close ones, man. They barely beaten Virginia. They barely beaten Troy. They were in a close game with South Alabama and only won by a touchdown against Utah State. It feels like that week is coming. This feels like this is a trap game. But I'm also one of those people, I think we all know, I'm going to ride this team until they show me I can't trust them to win, so give me JMU.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying as far as the close wins. But Utah State hasn't been that bad of a team this year. I mean, they took Fresno State last week to the bitter end.
Yep.
I mean, so they've actually been playing some really good football. I look at it and I look at what Marshall likes to do. Marshall does have a pretty good throwing offense, but they like to run the ball. And JMU is only allowing 42 yards per game on the ground.
Yeah.
So I like JMU to win this one too. I think JMU can hold out just because they're going to be able to stop Marshall from running the ball, and they're going to have to rely on their passing game. And when you become one-dimensional like that, it's just easier to play defense.
All right, game 2 up. We got number 11 Alabama 6-1 at home, 3:30 CBS game of the week. Number 17 Tennessee 5-1, 2-1 in the conference. They're on the road at Alabama. Obviously, this one is a rematch of that absolute thriller last year that Tennessee won. For me, dude, this is tough because, I just don't know that Tennessee is that good a team. Can they do it on the road? Alabama's offense has looked so bad for weeks now. And it's just like, man, you just don't know what Alabama's offense is going to be able to put up. This is hard. I hate leading on this one, but Alabama 9-point favorite. I think that line's too big for sure.
It's that high just because they're at home, and Bama's tough to play at home.
I think it's a revenge game, so I'm going to ride Tide this time, and I think it's a revenge game for last year. Here's the thing. Over the last 17 years, Alabama is 16-1 versus Tennessee.
Well, to quote my good friend Alex, you don't bet against Saban.
Yeah.
And for him to lose more than 2 games in a season is very unlikely. Roll with the Tide.
All right.
Yeah, it bit me in the butt a couple weeks ago when they played Ole Miss.
It bit you and I both in the butt
So,
a couple weeks ago.
It bit all three of us, actually. Alex was the only one to take Alabama.
And yeah, like you said, it is hard to bet against Saban, and I'm gonna believe in that logic this week. I'm gonna take Alabama at home.
Okay. Game 3, Keith, we're starting over there with you. We got 3-3 Mississippi State, who's 0-3 in the conference, versus 2-5 Arkansas, who's 0-4 in the conference. This is a noon game out there in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Arkansas is 6-point favorite.
Is this Arkansas from like 3 years ago when they couldn't win a conference game?
Maybe.
I mean, daggone.
Maybe.
I mean, you know, they're 0-5 in the last 5 games.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is
0-4
a
in the
tough one.
conference.
I mean, I like what Mississippi State's been doing. I do think that they have a really, they have a good team. They did lose to Alabama. They were embarrassed by Alabama. They lost to South Carolina. Looked good in the loss against South Carolina. Lost bad to LSU and went to overtime and beat Arizona, which Arizona has been
Really good.
a really good football team.
Really big surprise there.
Arkansas had so much going for them coming into this season. With KJ Jefferson coming back, you had Rocket Sanders coming back. They had such a good team coming back into this. And this is at Arkansas.
Yep.
Give me the Jolly Roger. I'm gonna go with Will Rogers to lead Mississippi State in this one.
Okay.
I'm going opposite here. I'm taking Arkansas. I think they've played some really close games. They've lost 4 one-score games in the last 5 weeks outside of A&M. I mean, other than that, they were right there with Alabama. 1 score against Ole Miss. 1 score against LSU. I mean, they were on the edge of being able to pull those games out. And that KJ Jefferson makes that offense, though. If he goes down hurt, I think this is completely different. But if he's in the game the whole time, he adds a extra wrinkle in that offense. He's a big dude. He is hard to bring down. He can make plays. And I see him being able to get it done at home. Just in the fact, A, with them being at home, but B, they have been in some really close games. I think this is the week they finally break that 0-for streak in the SEC.
I'm with Adam here in a sense, but I also question the fact that you've been in all these 1-score games and haven't been able to pull it out. Right? Like, that says something about your team to consistently lose by 1 score and just not be able to close a game out, especially some of these games that they were winning in, like the LSU game and the Alabama game. So it's hard to struggle against that. I will agree with you. I think KJ Jefferson though is.
But you just named the 2 best teams probably in the West.
And then that's my other point is when you look at their 4 losses, LSU, Ole Miss, Alabama, certainly the best teams in the West. There's no question about it.
They lost to A&M.
Yeah, the A&M loss is tough for sure. Yeah, I think I agree with that. The other hesitation about that is the game that they get blown out in is against the worst SEC West team, and they're at home. All these other games they lost were on the road. So.
And they lost to BYU.
Yes, and they lost to BYU. Another great point. So. I just think I look at this and I say these are the worst SEC teams outside of Vandy.
The law of averages says you have to win one of these games at some point.
Yeah,
but
it's tough. It's tough to say that. So, and both these teams' defenses are horrendous. I mean, just really bad. So
yeah, bump the point there no more.
I'm just going to take Arkansas because they're the home team, honestly. I mean, maybe they screw Adam and I and they lose another 1-score game, but maybe this is the week that they finally pull it out too.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Adam, over to you. We got Wisconsin 4-2 at 3-4 Illinois. This is a 3:30 game. This is in Champaign, Illinois, but Wisconsin is a 2.5-point favorite.
What is
Tanner Mordecai not doing great. Luke Altmaier not doing great. Quarterback play for these 2 teams, by the way, horrendous.
Yeah. Nah.
Well, Wisconsin's never been a passing game. They've always been rushing.
But now they're trying to turn into a spread Luke Fickle offense. So it doesn't make sense to me why he does that. Working in overtime now.
Give me Wisconsin on the road here. I will. Mainly, I like what they got left in the season, and I like. God, what are they first in the conference over there in the West of the Big Ten?
Who, Wisconsin?
Yeah.
No, Iowa is. They're 6-1 and
Yeah,
3-1.
because they just
Oh.
beat because
They
Iowa
just beat
just beat them.
Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah, they just beat Wisconsin 15-6.
That's right.
Yes,
yes.
yes, I did bet the over. It was only 34.5.
That's right. That's right. The most.
You
yeah.
never been over on Iowa. Iowa
be-
can't
the
score.
most-
34.5.
It's Iowa.
The most Iowa score. Yes. Yeah.
That is an Iowa score.
Very much so. But I still like Wisconsin.
Kate
I
McNamara's
think,
not playing.
I think they're just a little bit of a better team overall. It would be if you put them on paper side by side. I think they're very even, but I think Wisconsin is just a smidge better, just a hair.
Wisconsin historically has not played well on the road over the last 3 or 4 years. Since we've come out of COVID, Wisconsin has not played well on the road. They couldn't beat Washington State earlier this year. They couldn't beat Iowa. It's hard to take Wisconsin. But I own Illinois in our college football league. No, absolutely not. I know how bad Illinois is. I think Vegas is looking at this a little bit and saying, hey, they went and beat Maryland last week. This is a good Illinois team. This is not a good Illinois team. They got lucky. Give me the Badgers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Wisconsin on this one too. I think they're gonna be able to pull this one out.
Yeah.
They got a little bit of revenge on their mind after that disappointing loss to Iowa last week.
Yeah, I really think Luke Fickell is a good coach and will bring Wisconsin back. But he's got to stop trying in this very first year to take what he has and turning it into a spread offense. He's got to get back to a little too tight end play out there in Wisconsin. But I start this one, don't I?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
don't know who you're taking.
Yeah.
I know who I'm taking.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a clean sweep?
Probably.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. We got South Carolina 2-4, 1-3 in the conference, on the road 3:30 at Missouri. Missouri number 20 in the country, 6-1, 2-1 in the conference. Really, they lost to LSU and they beat Kentucky. Vandy doesn't really count. They shouldn't even be in the SEC halftime. So
They're there for academics and baseball.
they're here to carry our academics. I love South Carolina. Our defense is horrendous. Like what we just displayed. I was in the stadium.
You can't play a safety on a slot receiver
Yeah.
all game.
He and I were in the stadium last week just to watch us lose the way we lost to Florida. Just rips your heart out and then
After leading the entire time.
and then kicks you in the balls at the same time.
Yeah.
So, we haven't played Missouri well in the last couple of years, and we don't play well on the road. So give me Missouri.
I'll take Missouri because Missouri's a better team.
Yeah.
Missouri's is a much better team. I love Spencer Rattler. I love the Gamecocks. I mean, obviously, I'm wearing Gamecock shit now, but I just think Missouri is the better team, and Missouri's going to win this game. They're playing much better than everybody else, or our entire team at least.
I agree with everything y'all have said, and we have historically, since Mizzou joined the SEC East, not played Mizzou great in Columbia, Missouri.
Yeah.
We have not played them well. Yes, give me Missouri. I think
Unless Connor Shaw is our quarterback.
I think they're the better team. They've proven it, I think, the last few weeks. And like I said, I think we don't have an identity right now on defense yet.
Or offense.
All right, we're rolling to those Iowa Hawkeyes we were just talking about. Number 24 Iowa 6-1 at home on Saturday, 3:30. The Minnesota Gophers 3-3. People are calling this a trap game right now. Iowa only favored by 3.5.
Give me Iowa at home. Iowa always plays better at home. I mean, I know a couple weeks ago I said that Iowa wasn't going to win another game because, well, I didn't say they're going to win another game, but losing Kate McNamara really hurt them. I still think it hurts them, but they're playing solid defense. You know, Minnesota's lost a step or two, over the last year or so. They're not the same team they were a couple of years ago. Yeah, I just think I think Iowa can pull this one out, and especially with the kids up in the trauma center hospital, looking down on them, cheering them on the whole time.
Their quarterback last week went 6 of 14 for 37 yards.
Yeah, but they ran the ball for 300 yards.
Yeah.
I like Iowa at home here. A big thing that sticks out to me here for Minnesota,
Minnesota.
is you lost to Northwestern.
You lost to Northwestern.
That is true.
Northwestern is not a great team.
Yeah.
Granted, and the fact it was in overtime means you let them
You let them
hang
score
around
points.
way too long.
Yeah.
And then lost. Michigan, understandable loss. UNC, understandable.
loss.
You know, you're looking at a Drake May who's a Heisman candidate. JJ McCarthy, he's probably in the top 6 in Heisman, I would
He's
think.
top 10 right now. I wouldn't say 6, yeah.
Okay. So either way, top.
McCord
top.
probably has a chance to win.
McCord has a better chance of winning the Heisman now.
So, but either way,
You're playing
those
top
two
level
losses.
talent, yeah.
Those two losses acceptable. The loss that you had against Northwestern, not great.
Unacceptable.
But then it was Raging Cajuns and Eastern Michigan that you beat in your last 5 games. So not great not great teams to get a win over.
Yeah.
Like Keith said, Iowa plays great at home, and they'll
It's all
control,
defense.
they'll control the ball with the run game, and I think they got the defense to hold Minnesota.
Yeah, I say that one of these weeks we're going to talk about Iowa, and they're going to get down 2 touchdowns in the third quarter, and they're not going to be able to come back because they don't have a passing game. They can't throw the football. They just can't. They literally can't throw the football. And so I just know that one of those weeks it will happen. PJ Fleck has been good at getting people when they're sleeping. Like when you're coming into that game and you're like, Minnesota 3-3, bad Minnesota team, lost to Northwestern, like. You know, when you're just like you're downplaying them, that's when PJ Fleck is good. And so I just know that Iowa will get tripped up in the next couple weeks. I have also watched Minnesota this year. They are also horrendous on offense. They are only also averaging 132 points per game. That's just 16 more than Iowa.
Yards.
All right, sorry, 132 yards per game.
They're scoring 132 points. And
They're blowing everybody out. It's the old Georgia.
Jesus.
It's the old Georgia Tech, baby.
Scored 200 in a game.
Yeah, I mean, just both these teams are horrendous on offense. So, yeah, man, give me Iowa, but 3.5 might be too much. Like, it might be a 63 game.
Take the under.
Take the under.
It's 30.5.
Take the under.
Chris is still going to take the over.
I probably will, man. All I need is a kickoff return for touchdown, and all of a sudden this is a game, baby. So, I can't remember who led off. Was that you that led off on that one? Yeah. Back to you.
Yeah.
We got number 13 Ole Miss, 5-1, 2-1 in the conference, 7:00 game at Auburn, 3-3, 0-3 in the conference, looking for their first win. Ole Miss only a 6.5 point favorite, by the way.
Auburn's looking really damn good this year.
I would say Auburn's kind of on a slide right now. Granted, you lost to the best team in the East 2 weeks ago, and you lost to the second best team in the West last week. But another bad loss to A&M though. The week before that, before Georgia, 3 weeks ago. I think Auburn's in a little skid. Ole Miss is still looking good. Jackson Dart still playing well. I think Ole Miss gets it done on the road, even though it is a
Night game in Georgia.
night game in Auburn. It's different atmosphere, but I think Ole Miss gets it done.
Yeah, Auburn looking for their first conference win. They're not finding it on Saturday. Give me Ole Miss. This is not even a question. I will ride the Rebels pretty much all season.
Yep, I'll take Lane Kiffin and the old Ole Miss Rebels in this one too.
Yeah. Alrighty, we'll flip back over to me. We got Utah and Southern Cal. This has been one that's been on my mind for the whole week now that I knew this game was coming. You got number 14 Utah, 5-1, 2-1 in the conference. Number 18 Southern Cal, 6-1, 4-0 in the conference. 8:00 game in Southern Cal. Got to come back off that disappointing loss at Notre Dame.
Embarrassed by Notre Dame.
Absolutely. Is this the week that Cameron Rising plays? You and I have been asking this for weeks now because we've tried to ride Utah a little bit, but is this the week that Cameron Rising comes back? Who knows? But Southern Cal 7-point favorite in Los Angeles.
This is a tough one. I mean,
This is hard, dude, because Utah has a good defense. Their defense has shown up all season. Even in their loss to Oregon State.
Look what Notre Dame did to them. Notre Dame beat them because of their defense.
Yeah. Even in their loss to Oregon State, they only gave up 21 points. Yeah, give me Utah. I'm talking myself into this. Give me Utah.
I'm taking Utah solely based on their defense.
Oh God, boys!
Solely based on the defense. But if you think about it, look at the game last week against Notre Dame. They couldn't do anything and gave up 5 turnovers to arguably the best quarterback in the league.
Who's had Southern Cal's number the last 2 years?
Utah.
Utah.
I thought I was gonna be an I don't like this now.
You're in second. Go ahead and call it.
Golly. I hate following y'all right now.
Southern Cal.
Okay, as long as you stay in third or above, you okay?
Southern Cal gives up 400 yards a game. I mean, Utah has not been the same Utah that they have not been an elite team because they don't have Cameron Rising. They need Cameron Rising back. That puts them in real contention to win the Pac-12. At some point, Cameron Rising has to come back. He's been practicing for weeks. He's just not been good enough to go, apparently. Give me Cameron Rising this week, and if they do, guarantee me they're beating Southern Cal.
Oh man,
I think the defense alone will beat Southern Cal.
It keeps the game close.
You're looking at probably the top Heisman contender right now, Caleb Williams.
Not a question.
Yes, looking at last week's game, he did not look good at all. Notre Dame, I think, finally exposed them.
Team he gets drafted by.
When you put them up against a very strong defense, I think Notre Dame finally exposed them though last week. I really did think y'all were going to take Southern Cal. I own Utah in our college fantasy. I was hoping for weeks since week 3 that Cameron Rising would come back and play. And I think this is the week he needs to show up. This is the week I think Utah beats Southern Cal.
If Utah wants to win their conference, they have to beat Southern Cal this week. It's not a question. It's got to happen.
Yep.
If there's ever a moment for Cameron Rising to come back, it's got to be this week. It's got to be this week because even here they have Oregon the following week, Arizona State, then they have Washington. If Utah's going to win their conference, they have to start having Cameron Rising this week beat Southern Cal.
Yep.
So because they can still win it. But all right, Utah all the way around. This is your favorite right here. So the Clemson Tigers are 4-2, 2-2, 8:00 game in Miami, 4-2, 0-2 in the conference. Clemson's a 3-point favorite on the road at Hard Rock Stadium.
Jesus, I hate going Clemson.
I'll go first on this.
Go for it.
No. Make him do it. Make him do it.
Okay.
I don't think Clemson's got it this year. Give me Miami at home.
Okay. Now you make it.
Fuck Miami, first of all. How the hell do you lose to Georgia Tech when all you needed was a take a knee? Last week against UNC, you got your shit kicked in.
Yeah, but Clemson looks like a horrible team against Wake Forest. Wake Forest is one of the worst teams in the ACC this year.
Clemson hasn't looked great
at all,
really, in any game
except the Florida State game. They actually looked pretty good in the Florida State game
that they lost.
They did
in
lose in
overtime.
Yeah.
But I don't trust Miami right now.
I don't trust Kate Klubnik.
I don't trust Miami, and it's all because of clock management in Georgia Tech. Like, you needed to take a knee, and you don't. You, as a college player, didn't look at the coach and be like, what are you calling? I'm going to take a knee. Use your brain here. I don't care what the coach called. You're an 18-year-old who's been playing the game for 10-plus years. Realize you need to call an audible and take a knee and win the game. Yeah. If you would have won the game, I think it would be different. I would probably be taking Miami. I'm going to take Clemson. I agree. Neither team has looked great. Or Clemson's offense hadn't looked great, but I
trust Van Dyke over Klubnik all day long.
But I digress on Miami right now.
You wanted to be different than us. You're going to be different than us on this one because I agree with that statement. I trust Tyler Van Dyke more than I trust Cade Klubnik. I do think that Clemson's defense is probably the best defense that Miami will face so far this season, maybe A&M. But they actually, like, Miami, the score doesn't really show it. They played well against North Carolina last week.
They did. I mean, they put up 30 points.
If you look back at it, they played well against North Carolina. I think Miami has the ability to move the football. My scare for Miami is historically they don't play Clemson well. That is the truth of the situation. Clemson has had their number over the past couple of years. And so for me, that's the hesitation. But I also, again, same thing. Last week in Clemson, Game that you should easily blow out Wake. Probably one of the worst
Should
teams
win by
in
20.
the ACC. Yeah. Actually, technically, right now, they are the worst team in the ACC. Granted, Virginia, I think, will eventually surpass them. But that's the thing. Like, they should have blown out Wake. They came in a game where people were picking them to lose in Syracuse, at Syracuse. They come out and they blow up, right? Here's another game. They're favored by 3. Give me Miami. All right, college game day. Here we go. Back to you on this one. We got Penn State. We got Ohio State. They're both 6-0. They're both 3-0. They're playing at Big Noon. They're in Columbus, number 3, number 7. Ohio State is a 4.5-point favorite in this one. Adam, you get the lead.
I know. I don't like. Great matchup. Very, very difficult teams here to pick. Arguably, probably the best defense Ohio State has seen.
Oh, without a doubt. Maybe Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is good, but
Notre
I
Dame's
think
good defense, but
I think Penn State's a better defense. But I'm going to take Ohio State at home with just the atmosphere surrounding this game. I think they show up and take care of business.
I've been back and forth on this. I knew this was the game we were going to have to pick. We always pick the college game day game last. I look at these teams and I say two things. Ohio State has the home field advantage. They have probably the historical mindset advantage. They've been the better team the last couple of years.
They have the best wide receiver in the game.
They have the best wide receiver in the game. Miami has played Ohio State has played the more difficult schedule. Playing in Maryland, playing in Notre Dame, that's a lot better than anything Penn State's played with UMass, Northern Illinois, Iowa, Illinois, and Delaware.
Northwestern.
Northwestern, sorry. But I also look at Penn State, and this is the same thing that I said a couple weeks ago when Notre Dame and Ohio State played. I look at Penn State the way they have been. They are the most balanced offense in college football. They have a redshirt freshman quarterback right now that has thrown 12 touchdowns to 0 interceptions, which is super impressive. They have the better defense. There's no question about it between these two teams. They have the better defense, and they play better on defense. If this was a night game, I'd take Ohio State. The Big Noon, the way that Big Ten always screws their teams, they make them play the best game at noon. Give me Penn State.
Go and catch them sleeping, huh?
Yep.
This is a tough one. I mean, I agree with both of you in certain circumstances here. I agree that Penn State definitely is the better team defensively. I think Ohio State has a better offense when it comes to having Marvin Harrison Jr. and their rushing game has been fairly decent this year. I mean, they're averaging
135 yards.
So I mean, they're not giving up much, and that's been Penn State's bread and butter is running the ball, and Ohio State's limiting to only 100 yards a game. Those people still get crazy at noon, so I'm gonna go with Ohio State on this one.
All right. Man. All right, well, we're divided. We'll see where Alex falls on it, but should be a really good week of college football.
Absolutely.
Those are some good games to pick. So, all right, those are our Week 8 picks for this college football season. As always, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit us in the comments. Let us know who you think's going to win this week. As always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.